Hey, I'm Cody from Unqualified Gamers, a podcast member of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the one you're listening to right now. The opinions expressed are those of each individual. Check out other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com and get ready because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
You have been granted clearance by Director Phil Coulson. Stand by for S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents granted clearance by the S.H.I.E.L.D. Director.
Now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Agent Stargate Pioneer.
And I'm Agent Lauren.
Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., a Marvel Comic Universe podcast. This is podcast number 98, discussing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, Episode 7, Chaos Theory. This podcast is recorded on Wednesday, November 11th, 2015. And happy Veterans Day to you all. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a fan-based podcast on the ABC television show Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Agent Carter, Marvel's Daredevil on Netflix, and one not 2 weeks away from Marvel's Jessica Jones on Netflix and the general Marvel comic universe.
Because of Coulson getting busy.
If you'd like to talk to us about Coulson's bow chicka bow wow, you can contact us on our website, legendsofshield.com.
You can get a hold of us at our voicemail, 844-THE-BUS-1. That's 844-843-2871.
We have a Facebook page. Just search for Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. You will find us.
We have a Twitter, at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D.
We have a Tumblr. That's legendsofshield.tumblr.com.
We have a YouTube, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Don't forget about our forums. That's forums.gonnageek.com or search for Gonna Geek on your Tappa Talk app. This time on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., we're going to give something away. It's going to happen tonight, folks. We're giving it away. We're going to start a new giveaway. We are going to talk about the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode Chaos Theory. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about a little bit of your weekly comic book news and your weekly Marvel news, and of course, your feedback. So, Lauren, we've got this wonderful t-shirt to give away, don't we?
Yes, we do. As advertised, and if you are in the chat, as shown off by our lovely model, SP, it is a shirt with the S.H.I.E.L.D. design as done in the Kree symbols, and it is in a size large. It will be new, not on the hanger as shown.
That's right. There is a second one. I got two of them this time around. So there you go. Okay. So we went through some of our entries last time. One from Andy Migna, one from Cajun Sean. We got a third via Twitter. It was from our pal, our gal, actually, in Down Under in Australia, at Defy Down Under. Says the Kree word should be written massive in the desert so it's visible from space. Saying hi to any Kree watching. Okay, so Lauren,
I like that.
What out of the three? What do we got?
Okay, so to review, we have that one. We have the one from Cajun Sean, inside George Washington's nose on Mount Rushmore, and the one from Andy Migna. The next STS vehicle going into space. Oh, wait, I forgot. Sorry.
That hurts too much.
That's painful, man. That one's painful. Man, just because it's space, I have to say Defy Down Under.
Yeah, and it's positive space, too.
Space!
It's space.
Positive space.
Yes.
We are space people.
And
Well, you are more a space person than me, and I'm married to a space person, and I just like space.
We've seen a various different variety of seeing stuff from space. There was that daughter's message that was written in the desert by all those cars, which were actually driven. I guess they weren't remote control cars. There was the did you see the news about the Air Force Academy? They were having their 20th anniversary, that class, and they wrote a message to a classmate who's actually up in the space station right now. Did you see that?
I missed that. That's cool.
Yeah. I got somebody sent me the link, and it's great. Their class awesome. Their class motto from 1995 was "Keep the Pride," so they shortened it to KTP, and they wrote it with big towels in the middle of the Air Force Academy. So KTP 95, nice. and they saw it from space and took a picture. So there's a bunch of these stories going around. So yes, I think I concur. It's going. Our T-shirt's going on a little trip. It's going to the Southern Hemisphere. Defy Down Under, it is yours. So congratulations, and thank you to everybody for participating. We really enjoy seeing all that stuff. Now, I got my Marvel Villains crate in the mail the other day, and then the anonymous donor also sent another crate to my house. So there's 2 Marvel crates at my house. I will do a live unboxing next week of my crate, but there is a second crate to give away. So what are we going to do to give it away?
I don't know. What are we going to do to give it away?
I'll tell you what. So it's villains, right?
Okay.
It's villains.
Yes.
And we always joke about you being one bad lab accident away from being a supervillain, right?
This is true.
I don't think it's a joke, actually. I think it's actually going to happen.
It's, I can neither confirm nor deny this.
So tell you what, we don't know what to call you. So let's come up with a funny name for supervillain Lauren. So tweet us, Facebook us, email us, do something to get a hold of us and tell us what Lauren's supervillain name should be. And then you will be entered in the Marvel Villains crate giveaway.
I think that's fair. And I'm very curious to know
what other people think. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not good with these names. I could use the suggestions. I mean, just on the off chance, that the eventual happens.
Just to get it kicked off, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Starsaber_222 in the chat said, I got my Secret Wars crate yesterday too. Yay!
Yay!
Yeah, and he also said, I'm no Cisco, but I'll give it a shot. So yes, we're asking for you to Cisco, crossing the streams here in the flash, yes. Cisco Lauren supervillain name. So that will be fun. That'll be a fun one to give away because it will be the week after Thanksgiving. I might as well announce that right now. We're not going to be recording the day before Thanksgiving.
No, so I don't think any of us are going to be here.
So yeah, we might have an audience get together this time frame, just this time slot, but no, the rest of us will be doing I'm actually going to take a vacation. I'm going to take a whole weekend off. I'm going to do nothing podcast related, and it's going to be great. I got to get the Christmas decorations.
Yeah, maybe have like a group watch of Jessica Jones or something. But yeah,
that'd be cool.
I got family to visit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'll do that sort of stuff. So, but we'll be back the following week. So don't dismay. Yeah. We're not going off the board forever. You will hear back from us. All right, so that's the giveaway. And now we're going to talk some Rockin' Chaos. But before we do, I have to announce, I should have announced this already. Okay. We are minus one host tonight. Haley has decided that she actually applied for a special program to go Hydra hunting. And she got accepted.
Yeah.
So guess.
I'm a little bit jealous of her because it sounds fun. But
you got to do that Black Widow training, so
I know, but I haven't gotten to do that in a bit.
I can't wait to hear her stories from Hydra hunting.
Yes.
So Haley, next week,
whose butt she gets to kick.
Yeah, next week we'll be back for detailing her Hydra hunting. But in the meantime, let's get back to Chaos Theory because this episode was amazing. I squeezed it in. I literally had to squeeze it in because this week has just been chaos for me personally. So this episode is perfectly named. But I watched it. It was amazing. What did you think, Lauren?
Okay, so the episode was basically split into 3, oh my God, what's going to happen moments for me. There was May and Lash / Andrew and trying to figure out, when are they going to meet? What's going to happen? Is he going to attack her? Is she going to attack him? What's going to go on? There was Fitz and Simmons and just everything with that. I'm going to go into that so much later. I just have so many feelings about that. And Coulson and Rosalind. There was a lot of stuff going on with Coulson and Rosalind, and it all kind of culminated there at the end.
You kind of missed a fourth story. It wasn't really prominent, right? But Lincoln and Daisy are back in the same boat together.
They are. But I'm not going to say I don't care about them, as I was just so caught up in the others that I felt like I only had so much emotions to go around.
Right. I'll tell you, it was one hit after the other. I tried to do, okay, full disclosure, I was trying to do something else, and I was like, what? So I actually had to divert my entire attention and focus it on the TV. It was that great. Mm-hmm. It was really good. It was really good on the rewatch too. I'm like, oh man. Now there is one episode that I've kept on the DVR. It is 4,722. I will rewatch that. Probably I might even rewatch that Thanksgiving weekend. I don't know. We'll see. But that is going to stay on the DVR. This one was, again, a little setup episode, but I see something bigger happening later. But right now, this was a bunch of big moments, especially with Rosalind, or shall we say Miss Price.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about everything going on with Price, Coulson, and Daisy.
Okay.
So to recap, we have Coulson trying to get Daisy and Rosalind to, if not like each other, at least to understand each other.
Yep.
So he's like, okay, you two talk it out. And they don't so much talk it out as yell at each other for a bit.
They do. In the whole of one, it hurts to say it.
Of the bus
yeah,
too.
Thank you.
It's the bus too.
And just last week we were saying, hey, they haven't said Zephyr 1. Maybe they're going to go back to the bus. No, they called it Zephyr 1. Come on, Marvel. Listen to our podcast. Okay, so they're yelling at each other for a while, and then things calm down a little bit. But then Coulson's like, hey, look, you guys get to go on a tour together.
Yeah, and just... The thing is, okay, I really like how these characters are playing off together. Okay, so Star Saber in the chat said he's trying to make peace between the daughter and the girlfriend. And that is kind of how it is.
Kinda.
I have seen this exact same dynamic in so much other TV of, the new, dad's new girlfriend or mom's new boyfriend comes in, and it's the kids just kind of making their lives miserable and yelling at him for a while until big event X comes in and... they have to kind of reluctantly get along. In this case, Lash dropping Rosalind off of, balcony, and Daisy kind of, force cushioning her.
Yeah, it's something like the sound waves were going, making the air cushion. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I have a cynical part to all this, but keep on going, and then I'll get to my part.
Yeah. And then there's kind of that, reluctant respect there between them after that. And Coulson's like, oh, they're getting along. I'm happy. And I know I'm way simplifying it, but it's just, I've seen that same dynamic, and it's so amusing.
Yeah, it's not like I can't believe I can't remember the name of the stupid movie. It was a remake of the Disney movie with the two daughters that were separated at birth.
The Parent
Trap. Yeah. So it's not like that age. It's an adult kid age. An adult kid with superpowers, right? So at least she's got her head well on a swivel on top of her head, that sort of thing, on top of her shoulders, her head on top of her head, which could happen, I guess, with an Inhuman.
I mean, if you're an Inhuman, maybe.
Right. So there's that going on. Now, I have to ask you this. Consider, and there's one or two ways to go here. On one hand, Coulson is just being snowed over, and it's you just see it happening, and it's like, oh my gosh. On the other hand, he might actually have done some significant investigation against Miss Price and figured out that all might not be fine and dandy in the ACTU. Did I get that right, or is it ATCU?
I think it's ATCU because it's
okay. ATCU land. Okay, so
okay. No, I think he's suspicious. I think they're all suspicious. And with regards to that whole, post-coital phone call that she gets from Mr. Bad Guy Powers Booth, whose name I forgot.
She called him.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, post-coital phone call that she gives to Powers Booth which, I mean, that's a mood killer right there.
Calls Big Daddy.
But, but part of me is, okay, I was thinking about this earlier, and I'm trying to think what would satisfy me more is if I don't think that, because, okay, I don't think this is as straightforward as they're playing it. I don't think that it's just plain, oh, she's working with Hydra. I think there's something else going on. I don't know if ATCU is doing its own independent infiltration of the remnants of Hydra. I don't know if...
I don't think they'd be doing it at the executive level.
I mean, I don't know, but I want to believe that there's more to it than just, oh, mysterious evil lady sleeps with, good guy. I want to believe there's more to it than that, because that's just too simple.
Yeah, okay, so I'm completely cynical, right? They are creating a warehouse full of inhuman, I'll use the term monsters. You can use, that is harsh, granted, but they're creating this warehouse of people that have just turned, that don't know which way is up. And what an excellent opportunity for Hydra to brainwash them and to bring them into their fold. So it's like a little Hydra hatchery going on there with Inhumans. I see it happening.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. So on that note, I don't think this is the last.
Trying to play each other.
This is not the last time we're going to see a Lash. Lash is going to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, yeah, I think that this entire warehouse is being created to train Inhumans, or at least make them available for Hydra.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want to think it's that simple. I want to think there's more to it, because like we've established, S.H.I.E.L.D. is becoming a really good spy show. And to be a good spy show, or a good spy movie, a good spy book, good spy anything, there's like the layers within layers, because everything is so twisty and sneaky. I really want to know. Like,
was thinking back to the,
please let there be more.
Yeah, I was thinking back to the X-Men graphic novel. What was that we watched? It was a graphic novel, right?
It's the motion graphic
right.
novel.
So we watched that
comic.
Before the season started. Those podcasts aren't out yet, but remember that one scene where they're all standing around and they're having the dialogue out in the open, and then like 2 episodes later, or whatever it was, 20, 40 minutes later, they're actually talking in their heads back and forth. Yeah. So that went through my head here is, oh man, maybe there's that sort of thing going on where Coulson has already told everybody. He's already told Mac. He's already told Daisy. They're all on the same page, right? And they're trying to fool ACTU, and it's just not happening. Or maybe it's happening, but we just don't see it yet, right? So
I don't think he's told Daisy. She's playing everything way too close to the surface. She's doing a lot more of, why is Coulson doing this, than I feel like is necessary.
Mm-hmm. It could be. I don't know, but
but I would like to think that. I would like to think that, I would like to think Coulson is not being steamrolled over, and I don't think he's.
I don't know about that. Ward foreshadowed it, right? A couple of episodes, he said Coulson is not so good at his own camp, right? Or maybe that was SOS when I rewatched it. Well, but in any event, Ward had said that recently.
And then in this one, he said, you get rid of Coulson, you get rid of S.H.I.E.L.D. So it's making me really start to worry for the mid-season finale.
Yes, the mid-season of the winter finale, whatever they want to call it. Yep. Yeah. Okay, so anything more to say about Coulson and President Rosalind / Miss Price?
No, I think we pretty much covered that. Moving on real quick to Daisy and Lincoln.
Yeah, let's cover the tie.
Unless you have anything
Let's cover
else.
the tie.
Oh, yeah, the tie. Okay, yeah, as Clark Gregg said, the tie that could launch 1,000 fan fictions.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to Daisy and Lincoln.
Okay, so, yeah, they're a thing. He's back. If he can lose his shirt a couple more times, I think Haley will be happy.
Yeah, she's.
I don't know. I think I'm getting old. He's just too like young and pretty looking.
I know. Okay, so I watched a lot of John Wayne growing up, right? And there's one movie that he did that it was actually called The Train Robbers, and I love that movie, by the way. But he played opposite this really young girl, and he's like, "This is so awkward." He was verbal about it. Now, normally you think of him mainly as a womanizer or whatever, but he was the man's man, the womanizer. But in this particular case, he's like, I am never, ever doing that again, because that was so awkward. And so I'm reaching that point in my life.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, Felicity might be a little, and I'm crossing the streams again back to Arrow, since I do a Starling Tribune podcast, or a podcast on Arrow called the Starling Tribune. Like, Felicity might be getting into that. I don't know if she's too young for me or not, but definitely anything younger than that. That's my daughter's ages. So it's like, yeah. So I feel you. Like, Lincoln is kind of there, but at the same time, you never know.
Yeah. I was watching him and I'm like, just there. Usually I appreciate beautiful people. And I was looking at him and I'm like, there's just no appeal there to me. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know. But okay, so they're together and he decides to stay put, and that's cute. And I'm happy for them.
Yep, very happy, at least for now. And this is the start of her team. And it's very interesting watching this team start up, especially if you've been listening to past Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcasts. Black Adam has been going over the Secret Warriors comics from 2009 and seeing how that team, which this team is going to be based on, let's face it, that team is same and different from them both. So it'll be interesting, because I don't think Lincoln was on that team. I don't think anybody with his abilities, from what I've read so far, is in there. So, and that is awesome. We'll talk about that later. A little tease. We'll do a little tease. Okay, so they're back together, and then let's talk about the other ship during this episode. Fitz and Simmons.
Oh my God.
And Will.
Oh.
through with Will.
And Will. Yes, the other man. So yeah, they're there and they're trying to figure out the space junk thing. And okay, quick non-shippy stuff. Fitz goes down a Da Vinci Code-esque rabbit hole
a little bit
with Will's mission patch. And flipping it upside down, he's like, look, this matches the symbol that we found in this carving at this other place. And it could be this giant, shadowy government conspiracy. And Hunter's like, don't you think that's a little off the deep end? But because this is Marvel, of course, naturally, it's all connected.
Hashtag it's all connected.
Hashtag it's all connected.
.com. No,
yes.
not .com.
Why don't we own that? What, do we own that? We
Hashtag it's all connected?
Or just it's all connected? Either.
I don't know. I'll look for it.
Okay. But so other than that, what were you saying?
They're going together, and Fitz and Simmons turns over her phone to Fitz. That's what we're talking about. And then Fitz does his thing, and the phone, first of all, I'm shocked she still had it on her person, because it had to be on her person. It was without power as she was walking out to see the sunrise. So,
but the thing is, it was her keepsake. Like, as we saw in numbers that I can't remember because they're very long episode. 4,000. Yes, thank you. 4,772.
It's 4,722. Not 72.
Whatever. But as we saw in that, she kept the phone close because it was like her lifeline to home. So I think even with it turned off, I mean, some people get really attached to objects. When I was a kid, I used to cry when we sold cars and stuff because I felt like we were abandoning
it's like that
cars.
Subaru commercial that's been on with the iguana that had the babies in the back and the tape deck.
Yeah,
it goes for 150, 200 if you include the tape deck. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. No, I'm always terrified I'm going to be a hoarder because I get really, really attached to like inanimate objects, like, papers that I've written on and stuff. But anyway, so, and given that this was her lifeline and she was talking to Fitz through her recording, and she was looking at this video of her friends and Fitz back home, I think even just hoping that there was a chance, just the slightest chance that she would be able to talk to them again through it, without it. Just, it was what it represented. I think that's why she kept it.
Because the keepsake that she had, it was the necklace that she had.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyway, she had to have the phone on her.
So she had the phone. And she was like, yeah, I don't know if you could use any of the data on this, if you could recover it or what, because yay, radiation, space radiation. And if you notice when Fitz is going through the files, it's like, data corrupted or something. And I thought that was a nice little touch.
Yep, it was. I've had that happen to me recently, actually. Part of the reason why my week has been chaotic. Yeah. So fortunately, this time it wasn't my stuff. It was somebody else's, but it's somebody else that I'm responsible for, so I had to fix it. Anyway, so Fitz does his thing. He actually gets the data back off. And then, of course, he's looking for clues. So he's watching everything.
And he sees the picture. He sees the picture of Will, and he gets mad. But then he hears her voice logs and her video logs. And he's just sitting there, and he starts to get this clue of all the stuff that she went through. And I'm just sitting there thinking about that episode and starting to get teary-eyed because I'm hormonal and emotional. And like, basically at the end of the episode, I was crying, and I was like, why am I crying?
Yeah, those... out of the
my God, they're just
three main stories.
Oh, those two.
Out of the three main stories, that was the main one that I was very interested in. Of course, you had the spy versus spy stuff going on with Rosalind/Price. Rosalind-Price? I don't know. We'll figure out a name for her. And then Coulson.
I think her last name is
Okay.
Price.
Well, out of the two really big shippers, this one caught my attention because, yes, you're right. And the second time I watched it, I was really keen on, did Simmons really mean for him to see all this? Yes, she did. She's like, look, if this will help us get to Will, watch all of it. I want you to go through all of it. And she knew what she had said. She didn't forget it. So she knew that he was going to run into it. And then she knew that they were going to have to deal with it later as well, which they did. And the dual scenes at the end, back to back, watching the sunset and the sunrise, the sunset with, and that's poetic in itself with May and Andrew on Hawaii, and then sunrise with Fitz and Simmons. That was very nice.
That was beautiful. And something else that I noticed this episode, they've started finishing each other's sentences again.
Nice.
Yeah, it only took how long, and now both of them are a little busted around the edges, but they're, I guess, about the same amount of busted to be on the same wavelength again.
Yeah, Fitz is still, he's still not all there, because Fitz from the past wouldn't have had the emotional outburst about the corrupted data. And so the affected Fitz did, and that's just the way it is. He's not Spock. He's not, if you want to watch Big Bang Theory, you can go back and see the Spock approximation or whatever that was that Sheldon had to go through a couple weeks ago. So yeah, that is not Fitz. He is emotional as all get out now, and good on you, man. And Ian DeCaster playing it.
Oh my God, he's amazing.
Yeah. All the actors and actresses or actor. I guess that's a political correct term, right? Is actors. So all the actors are doing amazing jobs.
Yeah, no, they're all amazing, and just between him and Ming-Na Wen this episode, I really was in tears at the end.
Everything that she went through, was so harsh. And you didn't know exactly how Andrew had turned. And to find out that it was nothing to do with their vacation. They went on vacation, they came back, they thought everything was going to be fine, and boom.
And it was a booby-trapped book.
So
I mean, that makes sense. When you think about it, it would make sense that she would booby-track that book in particular, because it's the one with the names and the genealogies of everybody from Afterlife.
Yeah, so he was able to, Andrew/Lash was able to track all the Inhumans this year. And then for those people that have just joined Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this season, let's go into a little bit of the history of the book and where it's from.
Okay, so Daisy's mother, Jiaying, was more or less in charge of this Inhuman sanctuary called Afterlife. And she was, I guess, one of the ones who was in charge of deciding who was going to go through Terrigenesis and be exposed to the Terrigen mist. and get to become an Inhuman.
Because it was very difficult for them to actually make these crystals. So they had to limit how many people had to try Terrigenesis.
And she also had to kind of watch for temperament, things like that. And I started thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, between Andrew's already, kind of mission of judging which Inhumans would be fit for Daisy's team, and whatever, I guess, subconscious resentment he got from looking through that list when he got turned, I guess that could kind of explain why Lash was going after and killing Inhumans.
Mm-hmm.
That he was like, no, they're not, because again, Lash in the comics is a judge of Inhumans and kills the ones who aren't worthy.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and then we get his name too. He lashed out, so that's where Lash comes from. So we see that, and Lincoln had figured it out because of the book, and so Toon 2 was put together both by May from the, I guess we'll say, dying breath.
The Von Strucker. Well, no, he's in a coma. He's still alive. I was right.
Yep, you were right.
Yeah. Werner von Strucker, who's the kid of I forget his name, but the Von Strucker guy from Age of Ultron. The one who's in the movie for all of like 2 minutes.
2 minutes, like 2 seconds.
I'm still so disappointed.
I know.
By that.
That's a main character
Just
in the comics.
So
disappointed. Like, what do you do? Okay, whatever.
So yeah, kid from Gladiator, now in a coma.
Okay, so he's in a coma. May found out from him before he slipped into the coma, and then Lincoln figured it out because of detective work, right? Spy work, even though he's not a spy.
Detective work.
So they're both coming at it, and they both figure it out. But May, I see what May is doing here. She wants to figure out exactly what's going on from Andrew himself, but
she wants to hear it from him. And because of, they used to be married, they were patching things over.
They were going steady.
They were going steady.
Yes.
I guess she was worried about what S.H.I.E.L.D. might do to him, and she trusted herself to keep it under control.
Yeah, it's
maybe
a little bit too far.
So she went to go confront him alone, which was not the best idea. And I guess she trusted him not to hurt her also, because he was always the kinder one. And I guess also she didn't want to believe it.
Right. Well, he did end up icing her. And then I think he was at the end. Oh, that was interesting. At the end, she de-hulked him, right? She calmed him down.
Okay. So at the end, everybody's confronting Andrew. And Andrew's trying to explain himself, and Lincoln's like, no, it's people don't switch back and forth. He's just still transforming. He's going to turn permanently. And May talks to him, and she's like, you were always the better person. You were the kinder of us. And, she's talking him down, and he turns back. And then she just flat out shoots him like 4 times in the chest and knocks him into their little containment unit, and it slams shut, and it knocks him out. And they're like, how did you know that it was going to do that? She's like, I didn't. And I'm just like, my heart just broke right there. Right. And it just stayed broken for the rest of the episode.
I know, that was tough because she was trying to kill him at that point in time, really. But she had the fallback that he would fall back into the containment unit, whatever. So Cajun Sean in the chat said something interesting. He said, Joey gave me a vibe that he might become a supervillain. And while that might be true, I think it's more likely that he will join the Secret Warriors. Now, I don't know if he's going to survive or not.
I think he'll join the Secret Warriors. They emphasize that because he's an architect, he's more interested in building than destroying.
Mm-hmm. So trying to use his
powers. I feel like Lash and Andrew right then was more Lash than Andrew. Was trying to kind of prod him into saying something to trip him up so that he'd have the excuse of being
right. And then at the end, when he was talking, when Coulson interrupted the kiss between May and Andrew, and Andrew said, I'm doing you a favor. I knew right then and there that Andrew's now gone. He's bye-bye. It is now Lash. So
yeah. Oh, and Adam in the chat said, isn't there a minor Iron Man villain called the Melter? Yes, there is. Yeah. And his outfit is silly as hell. And yeah, he but his name is Bruno Horgan, and then there's a second one named Christopher Colchis.
I don't know. I mean, take a look at what the X-Men did with their uniforms. They made them halfway decent, so it's possible. And the Superman outfit, Spider-Man, so I know.
Oh, and I guess in the MCU comics verse, there was a comic called Iron Man Coming of the Melter set between Avengers and Iron Man 3. Okay. But we don't know how canon that is.
All right, so Max says an interesting quote. I got to look into that shotgun axe combo idea.
Yes, he's still on about that shotgun axe.
We're gonna see it. He said it like 3 times. He really likes it. All right.
Yeah.
And then we talked about everything that I've got notes on. So do you have anything that we haven't covered yet?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything. I did not write down any quotes because I am bad at that.
All right, so just a reminder, after we're done with the podcast post-credit, we're going to take down actually, I'll probably just leave it up since it's just the 2 of us, but usually we take down the Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. logo, we open up the 4th seat, and we allow anybody to come in and talk. So if you have anything you need to say, that is your time to do it, and we welcome that. So hang on. If we have missed anything during the podcast, you can have your say there. And then just want to say that we really appreciate all the great stuff that was said about the episode while Lauren was live tweeting, which she did an excellent job again. So really looking forward to that next week. But is there anything in particular that you want to say about the live tweets?
Yes, I love everybody who shows up. Let's see if I can find one of the ones. I think it was it Suncast who said that Fitzsimmons always get the best scenes, and I'm like, yeah, I definitely agree with
this
that.
Episode was, and Andy,
it was Suncast.
Yeah, and Andy Mignas later, he watched the episode later because he's like on the other side of the planet, so don't blame him at all. Yeah. And he said that when is S.H.I.E.L.D. going to give me some good vibe episodes? Enough with this teary relationship stuff. And I gotta say, Andy Migna, I feel your pain, but guess what? That's what we're stuck in. It's not the CW, but it is the second element of these shows. You have the great deception going on, this great spycraft, the great superhuman, inhuman stuff going on. But then you have the relationship stuff. It's in the comics too, sir. If you would read them, you can't get away with it. So just bear with it to get to what you would call the good stuff. I actually am enjoying this relationship stuff, like the whole Rosalind Coulson thing. That is deception, probably 3 or 4 layers.
I knew they were going to hook up. I knew they were going to hook up. That way. I've been calling it for weeks.
Okay.
Although I still ship Felinda.
That still could happen, but she's got to get over Andrew first. So,
well, yes.
All right, that's it for the episode talk, and we have a full slate of comics, although I do have an announcement to make, so I'll get to that after the bump. So many comics this week. So many comics. But I have a little announcement to make. Neil was running about as late as I was on everything, and he did give me a file, but it was like a second or 2 before we went on here. So what I'm going to have to do is, what you're going to have to do is, it's going to go in Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Long Box Edition. We're not trying to hide it from you from Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., by the way, but this week that will be your only shot. It's some great first episodes. It's some great second episodes of the all new, all different Marvel. So make sure you catch that. So once again, that's Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Long Box Edition. Go ahead, catch that out. In the meantime, we still do have a couple of segments. One is a S.H.I.E.L.D. mission report.
This is Consultant Black Adam, and this week I'm digging into the S.H.I.E.L.D. archives to look at Secret Warriors number 4. This issue was originally published May 13th, 2009, and was a continuation of the Nick Fury Agent of Nothing arc. This issue was written by Brian Michael Bendis and Jonathan Hickman, with art by Stefano Caselli. In this issue, Nick Fury visits the headquarters of the Howling Commandos Private Military Corporation, while Quake and Sebastian Druid go on a recruiting trip to the Australian outback. JT and Alex make an unexpected discovery at one of their bases, and Hydra plans their next move. When S.H.I.E.L.D. was dismantled, over 1,000 agents, including Dum Dum Dugan, Gabe Jones, and Jesper Sitwell, decided not to move over to Hammer and instead founded the Howling Commandos at PMC. After the failure of Daisy's Secret Warriors, Nick Fury decided to reach out to the Howling Commandos to bring them into the fold. Despite some resistance from Gabe, the Howling Commandos decide to join Nick Fury for an attack on the Dock, a large S.H.I.E.L.D. facility that was taken over by Hammer. And not to get into specifics, but the last couple pages make it pretty clear that Fury is a bit of a... The other significant plot in this issue is Daisy's trip to Australia to recruit Eden Fessy, a powerful teleporter. Fury had attempted to recruit him previously, but his guide refused the offer. Eden is surprised when the guide says he can go with Quake, until Gateway explains that when Fury tried to recruit him, it was for a different group, which Daisy finds very interesting because she wasn't aware of any other groups that Fury is working with. This was another setup issue, but the ending makes it clear that the next issue is where things are going to finally kick into a different gear. I'll be back next week for my mission report on Secret Warriors at number 5.
Adam, language. Sorry, man, I got to do that. But I will say this is all exciting stuff, and I have gone into Marvel Unlimited. I put the first 12 issues in my library, as you can, and it is in the read in the offline in case I'm somewhere where I'm offline. So I am going through the first episodes or the first issues of Secret Warriors, and it's fun. Although I will say in the app, in the Marvel Unlimited Reader app, it's not as good as Comixology because when you're going to the frame-by-frame view, it actually cuts off like half the page and you can't see it, whatever. So you got to read it in the full page view and then zoom in and zoom out if you're having problems with the dot lock. But what'd you think of that?
Sorry. I need to go back and read those comics. I'm so behind on so many comics, and Secret Warriors is one of them, which is a shame because they sound so cool, especially Nick Fury being a bleeped out for language.
Yeah, it's just gotten worse and worse the last couple of issues. And finally he said something. I'm like, I'm sorry, Adam, that can't make it on a family-friendly show at the PG rating that we released this. So sorry, man, you have to bleep that.
If I have to censor myself, you have to too.
There you go. All right. And talking about censoring yourself, we have some X-Men comics. Are you ready for your musing segment, ma'am?
Yep, I am. Hey, X-Fans. There's 2 comics this week for November 4th, 2015. The first comic is Uncanny X-Men number 600. This comic was delayed from the end of May, so it would coincide with the beginning of the new Marvel launch stuff. The writer was Brian Michael Bendis, and the artists, yes, that's plural, are Sarah Pacelli, Mahmoud Asrar, Stuart Amonin, Chris Anka, Chris Bachalo, David Marquez, and Fraser Irving, all of whom are fantastic. This issue features all the interventions. We've got time-space interventions. We've got brother-sister interventions. We've got Jean and the rest of the X-Men interventions. We've got Cyclops versus the World interventions. And most newsworthy, we had the present and past Iceman sexual identity intervention, which I thought was handled in a very sensitive and kind of adorable way. So this one I'd say is definitely worth checking out, especially if you've read the rest of Brian Michael Bendis' run on Uncanny X-Men. And that comic leads into Extraordinary X-Men number 1, written by Jeff Lemire and art by Humberto Ramos. This comic takes place in the post-Doom mess, let's call it. It features Mpox, a disease which is caused by the release of the Terrigen mists into Earth's atmosphere. This disease makes mutants sterile, so now we have a new No More Mutants thing going on, so let's see how long that lasts. This issue follows Storm trying to lead the X-Men in their new sanctuary, X-Haven. It also follows Magic recruiting mutants around the world, saving them, more accurately, young Jean trying to take time for herself away from the X-Men. It also features reappearances of Colossus, Nightcrawler, and a surprise at the end. I think this is worth following, and I look forward to reading the next issue. That's it for this week, and remember, mutant and proud.
I'll have to say Lauren's puppeteering is getting better and better. So if you're not watching the live feed on blab.im, go to our gonnageek.com YouTube channel, and you will see it later. And it's great. It's the funniest part of the show. It's just awesome. But you're getting better. It wasn't bad to begin with, but you're getting better.
It's really nice to actually like be able to have the feedback there on the screen instead of just kind of like what I usually do when I go to cons and help my friends sell their stuff and I bring the rat puppet is I'm just kind of like making motions, and then, people will come and be like, oh, it's a rat. And here I'm like, oh, I can see what I'm doing.
So what's the rat's superpower?
The rat's superpower is that it does not spread the bubonic plague.
There you go.
Even though it is a plague
it's a benign, like maybe no more new rats, like a no more new mutant policy.
Oh, that makes me sad.
I know, but you brought it up in the segment, so I was kind of.
I know. Seriously though, let's see how long that lasts, because no more mutants didn't last even like a decade.
Yeah, you can't, because you have
maybe a decade. Have more. No, it lasted less than a decade.
Yeah, because you have more creative people come in and they're like, "Hey, why don't we do this?" Well, why don't we? Let's go ahead and do it. All right, so thank you very much to Adam. Thank you very much to Lauren for putting these together and having everybody else listen to it. It is great having the connection back to the comics, and I really appreciate it. And once again, there are a bunch of new Marvel in general episode or issues out this week. So go to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. long box edition. You can get it all the same places that you can get Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. iTunes, on Spreaker, on Stitcher, or TuneIn, and anything, anywhere like that. So go find Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. long box edition and listen to it, and you will hear Neil's amazing segment. All right, you ready for some news?
Yay!
I can't believe this first story. You're not kidding, are you? This is amazing. This is not good.
No, I'm very sad.
So Haley Atwell is pulling a Joss Whedon.
Sort of. Her account is still there, but so I was looking for news articles, and I just happened to be scrolling through Tumblr at the same time, because I'm always on Tumblr because I always need pictures of like kittens. And then somebody said, Haley Atwell just left Twitter. And I'm like, no. So I go to her Twitter account, and her first tweet from a few, she did delete her Twitter account.
It's gone.
No. Oh my God. In the 2 hours since this, she deleted her Twitter account. But no, she said, it's been fun. I'm getting off of Twitter. And everyone was like, oh my God, what happened? She's like, no, there was no bullies. There's nothing. It's just that I feel like I should be more here in the present, concentrating on stuff that I'm doing. And I'm enjoying this too much.
So
nobody ran her off of Twitter. She's just not going to be on Twitter. And I'm very sad.
So if you click on her name at what was it? At Atwell. It was at Haley Atwell.
Haley Atwell.
It goes to this account has been suspended page. So it's not like the account is gone. It's just not available on Twitter. And I think that if she needs to concentrate on doing her job, if that's the case, then please concentrate on doing your job. But you have done a thank you very much for entertaining us for so long. Yes. Thank you for all your pop-ins at all the sets.
The Dub Smash Wars.
Thank you very much.
And the pictures and the tweets about accidentally kicking stuntmen in the balls. And
she was just trying
the pictures of herself in adorable animal pajamas.
That's right.
And just, I'm going to miss her. She's fantastic.
And I'm going to miss the fact that you can't even go back and search your page because the account is suspended.
I know.
So that's what I'm going to miss. Oh, well. All right, so to make you feel happier, let's talk a little bit about a trailer that came out.
Yes. Okay, so another Jessica Jones trailer came out. I think this is the final one before it airs next week. Next week, you guys. Next week. I'm so excited. But this trailer is about 2.5 minutes long. It has a whole bunch of new dialogue and scenes, and Luke Cage talking to Jessica, and Kilgrave being a horrible person. I was almost going to say the word that got beeped earlier.
Thank you.
And it's fantastic. We see Carrie Ann Moss as her character. We see Patsy Walker, and it's just, oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait. I need to reread the comics just in anticipation again. They're just sitting there on my shelf, and I'm like, just grab them and read them.
There's a bit of talk on Twitter this week as well that Jessica Jones comes out the same weekend that Battlefront comes out. So there's going to be a split in geek culture. And for that, I will say, if you're fortunate enough to have the 4-day weekend the next week, or 5-day weekend, or whatever it is the next week, you'll have a little bit of time to catch up. So just pace yourself. Once it's over, it's over with Jessica Jones. I mean, we rewatched Daredevil this summer, and it was good that we rewatched it, because watching it all at once, it really did drain me, by the way. Watching Daredevil all in a day and a half that I watched it in. It was intense, and even though they had levity in it, it was gone. And I see Jessica Jones doing the same thing from everything I've heard.
Yeah, the Jessica Jones comics were dark, and I've heard this show it's not going to pull punches.
Right. So be prepared for that, and maybe you'll need to take some breaks and go play Battlefront. So there you go.
Yeah.
And yes, I probably will. My family is now egging me on. They just egged me on today. Like, you going to get the PS4 Battlefront bundle? Yeah. Okay. So I think that's what I'm headed for. So we will have both those things over the next couple of weeks, and we won't have a podcast the week of Thanksgiving. So we'll all come back, and we'll all have to talk about a bunch of stuff in a week and a half. Okay. So let's turn our heads towards after Civil War, and let's talk a little bit about Black Panther, which I don't.
Okay, so the third director that Marvel has approached has turned them down.
Do you think that's because of creative differences that all these people are turning them down, or because they just don't want to touch the subject matter?
No, I think it's because of creative differences, because I know Ava DuVernay had been really excited. This current director is Ryan Coogler, who, previously is Ava DuVernay, who directed Selma. And I know she had been really excited. She wanted to do something because Black Panther, she was like, yeah, the possibilities are great. You could do all this stuff with Afrofuturism and a superhero and all this stuff. And then because of the creative control that the creative holds that the studio was placing on it, she's like, no, I'm out. Straight Outta Compton's director F. Gary Gray was also in the running, but then he passed on it to direct Fast 8. And so yeah, now Ryan Coogler has passed on it. So I think Marvel is going to have to loosen up some of their creative controls, or else they're going to end up with maybe not a really good director.
Well, let's face it, it's not Marvel, it's Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige is steering the ship, nobody else is. So if you have creative differences, it's with Kevin Feige in the MCU right now.
Yeah.
All right. So also talking about after Civil War, and the very next movie, we get a little bit of Doctor Strange news. So what do you got?
Okay, so last week we got our first pictures of I was about to call one of the internet joke names, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
As Doctor Strange. And this week we get our first look at Chiwetel Ejiofor as Baron Mordo. So he's all decked out in these like kind of honestly Loki looking robes.
Yeah, he is
looking pretty cool.
Yeah, I like this shoulder pads, or whatever you want to call it, because it's not really shoulder pads. It's more like a shield.
What I want to say it probably is like a hood laid back.
Yeah. Yes.
Like I'm betting if it's like a hood, if you pull it forward, it's a hood, like a
right.
Hood.
But it goes all the way across his shoulders, like hooks over his shoulders.
Like it's voluminous.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like the scarf.
Yeah.
It's all good.
No, I
dig
dig
the boots.
I really dig
the
that.
Boots are nice.
I am just always in awe of how awesome movie boots look. Like I can never pull that off. I have really short, stumpy legs. Like I basically look like a hobbit, so I can't ever quite pull off awesome chunky badass boots, but I want to.
I know.
And those are some Aussie chunky badass boots. Awesome chunky badass boots.
I am considered tall for my mother's side of the family, and it was only because my father is really tall. And I've discovered that, yes, I do come from hobbits on my mother's side. I was the tallest person in the entire family reunion a couple of years ago. I was like, what? I'm short, and you all are shorter than me by like a foot. Oh my gosh. So yeah, there was that.
Yeah, we're all like 5'1" and under.
Anyway, the costume here for
yes, the costuming looks
it's
good.
amazing. Go check it out if you haven't seen the story. All right. We have some feel good stuff for you. So what do you got?
Yes, we do. Okay, so first of all, somebody on YouTube made a 10-minute fan film about the origin of Miles Morales as Spider-Man, and it's really good. I was watching it earlier today. Yeah, it's a fan film, but it's got some good look to it.
Nice. So we will have the YouTube link in the chat or in the show notes, so go check that out.
Yeah.
And then also, this is interesting. We have a return to Marvel Comics with a new Deadpool story.
Yeah. So one of Deadpool's co-creators is returning to do a new Deadpool story. The co-creator is Rob Liefeld, who, okay. So if you wanted, I'm trying to put this politely.
Stretch for it, Lauren. Come on. I know you can do it.
He is known for the giant muscles and pouches everywhere. If you wanted an artist to encapsulate the look of 90s comics, it's Rob Liefeld. And the article we're linking to, it's from IO9, has a picture of the cover, I guess, the cover for Deadpool Bad Blood. And I really like the little thing that they wrote at the end. Those familiar with Liefeld's most infamous work will probably be surprised at the restraint shown here. There's only like 9 pockets on display. Because, it's...
All right. So Lauren is very excited about this, and we will keep everybody informed as the new Deadpool issues come out. And
just look up Rob Liefeld, everybody. I understand he's a very nice person, and he is great to talk to at cons.
Yeah, as a lot of people are.
But just look up Rob Liefeld if you're not familiar with him. No feet. That's right, Cajun Sean. No feet.
And the final news story.
Look up Rob Liefeld, Captain America, people. I can't.
All right. Okay, so from that, I will go to another kind of feel-good story and kind of an awe story. I will go a little bit off path from Marvel, go into Star Wars, because we're all interested in it here, and just say over the past week, there's been a ton of messages about the Force for Daniel event that occurred. Daniel was terminally ill. He got to see an early cut. We talked about it before, an early cut version of Star Wars. He didn't get to see this finished product because it just wasn't all finished yet. Sadly, he has now, 5 days after he saw the film, passed away at the age of 32. Yeah. His wife put a wonderful selfie out there if you haven't seen it yet, which I'm shocked if you haven't, by the way. If you're on social media, you have seen this. She did or it was actually mainstream news as well, but she did a wonderful selfie of herself and her husband a couple of days before they died, and she put that up and said, sadly, he's passed. And everybody is very pleased that he got his last dying wish and he got to see the film. So I just want to say thank you to whoever made that possible. I assume J.J. Abrams himself was involved. So thank you very much. And I know there's a lot of people in similar circumstances, but in this particular case, it was his dying wish. So I'm glad he got to see it.
Yeah, I think he was from somewhere up here in North Houston, so it was in the news here like all the time. And that, I know it's really stupid to say, but when I was younger, one of the things I always used to worry about was, what if I die before all the new Star Wars movies come out?
It doesn't have to be Star Wars. It could be something else. It could be like,
no, it could be
like Harry Potter.
It could be anything. Yeah, it could be anything. And the fact that in this case that he did get his final wish to see something this important to him, I mean, just really good on, whoever made that happen.
So thank you very much. And we really appreciate that. And I know Marvel, Disney, Star Wars, I know everybody does that within the company. So I just think it's great for that reach. And they did not, in my estimation, they did not do it for the publicity. They simply did it to say, okay, we have done all this work and he has waited his whole life for this. So let's make this happen. So great. All right. Anything else for news, Lauren? Woohoo! Next week, Haley's going to be back. Lauren's going to be back. SP's going to be back. Aw. But SP's going to be back. We're going to be talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, Episode 8, Many Heads, One Tail.
And it's going to be our 99th episode.
Ooh. So 99, we take a week off and we come back big with our 100th. Woohoo! It's going to be fun. All right. If you have anything to say to us, we have a ton of contact points. We have our website, legendsofshield.com, and all our contact information is in the top right corner. You can go check that out, including our voicemail line, which is 844-THE-BUS-1, 844-843-2871. Zephyr 1 just doesn't make a good phone number.
No, it doesn't.
The bus.
Nobody can spell it.
Is it with a PH? Is it with an F? Do you do two F's? I don't. Is
there a couple of E's in there? I mean,
is it one like ONE or is it just the number one? I don't know what it is. Okay, so we have the voicemail line once again, 844-THE-BUS-1 or 844-843-2871. We have a Facebook page, a Tumblr page, a Twitter account, a YouTube channel. Just search for Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. You will find us, and don't forget the forums on the Gonna Geek Network. Lots of fun stuff there. All right, we haven't talked about science for a while. I'm going to inject a science question.
Okay.
The sun never comes up on this planet in the Phantom Zone or wherever it is, right? Mm-hmm. Is it a black hole or is it just in the polar region that they're at?
I always thought it was the polar region because eventually the sun did come up for just a little bit.
That's what I thought as well. But this episode kind of leads you down that path that they might be bringing it down the black hole thing. So I'm pretty sure there's a sun.
I'm pretty sure they're at the polar region.
All right. So if you have a science question like that, please get a hold of us. Rocket scientist, evil biologist, and engineer who is not here right now. But Haley loves these questions as well. So go ahead, hit us up with that. The Science of Marvel, we'll answer them as best we can. Because it is comic books after all, people.
Yeah, there's some, you can bend science, but let's face it, you can only really bend it so far before just waving your hand and saying, a wizard did it, okay?
Exactly. All right. I want to thank everybody that was live here on Blabber. Really appreciate that. And for the live people, the live viewer, we will be opening up the seat after the credits, so come on in. And feel free to come on in. We invite all Marvel fans to talk Marvel stuff with us. And I also just want to thank all the listeners. You guys are great about how many downloads I don't talk about download numbers at all. No podcast. Shh, don't talk about that. But I will say that last month we had our best month ever. And that is due to you, the listener. We really appreciate that, especially coming off that nasty summer with all the tech problems we had. So thank you very much for listening. I really appreciate that. We really appreciate that because we don't just do this for ourselves. We really don't. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be paying this much money just for myself. No, this is a community thing, and I love learning about this, learning about the comics, and I love talking to everybody about it.
And I want to say thank you to everybody who follows us on Twitter, everybody who tweets news articles at us, everybody who follows along for the live tweets, everybody on Facebook who comments or shares stuff with us there. Seriously, just everybody who follows us on any form of social media, just thank you so much. We love hearing from you.
Yeah, and don't forget, we have the contest for the Marvel Villain Crate coming at you. So remember, what is your name for the supervillain Lauren? who is here with me now. She's very interested to figure out what everybody will name her. So that will be in 3 weeks that we will do that. We will talk about the early entries next week, and then 2 weeks after that, we will give that away. So we really appreciate everybody that has entered into our contest this fall. We just have a lot of stuff to give away. We love giving it away. We don't there's only so much space in my house, people, just get it out. So go ahead and tweet us, Facebook, put it in an iTunes review. I don't care. Just get it to us, and we will get your if you win, we will get it to you. And Defy Down Under, congratulations on the shirt. Go ahead and hit me up on DM and with your address, and I will send it to you. So thank you very much. And until next time, I'm Agent Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Agent Lauren.
See you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to gonnageek.com and you'll find all of our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofshield.com where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual host and do not represent Legends, Stream, or Gonna Geek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the property of the Disney Corporation. No infringement is intended.
And thank you, Spreaker listener. Thank you very much. If you want to catch the after show, just come on over to Blab or catch it at geeks.live or gonnageek.com/live. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, Adam. We have our first caller, Mr.
Yo.
Adam, sir. How's it going?
Okay, and first I want to say thanks for that nice note in the package.
Yeah, you bet. Well, thanks for everything that you do. So I'm glad to give a great note to any of our listeners, and especially you. You're really not a listener with your segment. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, I mean, I did record one of those little Gonna Geek opening things too for you.
Yeah, you did. Okay, so don't worry about it. It's in the hopper. We have a bunch of new ones to do, and it's just on Steven's to-do list, and hopefully he will be getting to that in the next couple of weeks. So don't worry about it. I've actually asked him a couple of times about it.
Yeah, I figured that, but...
Yeah, we've got a couple of new podcasts on the network as well that have them to be put out as well. It's let me tell you, it's getting a little sparse just because we've had to transition in podcasts on the network with shows closing down because like Defiance closing down and stuff like that. So we do need a rash of new ones. So thank you very much for recording that. It is in the hopper to be done.
Okay, and sorry, I had DVR trouble, so I ended up having to watch the show on my iPad over lunch at work today.
I know.
Or at least the 2/3 of it that my DVR didn't record. And it wasn't consecutive either.
That happened to me once last season where we lost power during half of it. So I've got 4 DVRs in the house, which is going to go away. I'm going to start cutting the cord on that. But I'm like, okay, one of them has to catch it, except for when the power goes out. Then you're just screwed. But So you caught the episode. What did you think, sir?
Pretty good. I liked what they did with Lash, and that's going to mess up Melinda pretty bad there.
Yeah.
Just a bit. She is one of those people that, and don't forget, we talked about it last time. She's still got the hate foo in her from the Asgardian staff.
Yeah.
So,
and something I forgot to talk about in the episode was when we were recording was that whole, it was like that little girl in Bahrain, that they have to die. And Melinda's like, I didn't want to do that. It's like, dude, how badly could you misjudge this situation?
Yeah.
And I found it really interesting that at the end there, Daisy sort of saw where Achu was coming from.
She did, but at the same time, you see behind the curtain in the post-credit scene or whatever you want to call it. What do we want to call that when they say S.H.I.E.L.D. will be back in a couple of minutes? What do we want to call that scene? Because it's not like shawarma. What should we call it? Anybody got a good idea?
I'd say it's pretty close to shawarma. Same idea, at least.
TV show shawarma. Okay, so in that scene, we see Miss Price calling the Hydra, so we know bad things are afoot.
Or she thinks that, or he didn't break cover when the rest of Hydra did, so she thinks he's a legitimate remaining member of the World Security Council.
That's a good question. I don't think so. If she did, she would have told Coulson about it.
Yeah, probably, but.
And the whole point is to bring Coulson into. She's trying to lure Coulson into.
Stargate Command.
Yeah, to do something with him, right? So I don't see anything positive coming out of that, especially since he's working with Ward.
Yeah, true. It's just another option of how they could play it.
Yeah, you never know. They can slightly mislead us in an episode and then go in an entirely different way next week. So next week's episode will be cool. I'm guessing they're going to take a week off. I haven't looked at the schedule, but I'm guessing that we'll have to wait 2 weeks until we see after next week.
IMDb and see.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I know Arrow almost certainly will, but the Tuesday ones, it's more up in the air.
Yeah, usually they do take that off because the whole week's kind of a wash.
Yeah. But last year it was elections that caused the delay, not.
Okay, it says episodes on November 17th, November 24th, December 1st, December 8th.
Okay. For S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow, they have a whole bunch of episodes here. Okay.
Well, if there's
that isn't all necessarily
all February 23rd. I don't think this doesn't have any time off for Agent Carter, so I think
that's probably not accurate.
Well, we'll play it by ear because it'll have to be a really abbreviated cast if we do one on Wednesday the 25th. Anyway, so what else you got for the episode, sir?
I know there was something else, but I'm forgetting about what it was.
Okay, so Fitzsimmons, Daisy, Lincoln, Lash, May, Coulson, Felinda.
Well, I'm glad that Mockingbird called out Hunter on how.
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. Yeah, she said, You are out of control. Yeah, that's right. Adam coming through with the big win. Yeah, stuff that we forgot to talk about.
Yeah, Mockingbird just like, okay, look, we need to calm down. You're being a little weird here. And he's like, no, blood for the blood god. Rah!
Oh, yeah, that's what I had said recently that you almost had to bleep. I was trying to remember what other stuff you were mentioned there.
Right. Yeah, so that story took a backseat. That's like the fifth story of the episode that took a complete backseat. And I think it's going to be back a lot next week, especially the Hydra stuff has been simmering, except for the one attack that Hunter actually shot Ward, which obviously he's fine now, but eventually it's going to happen again, and it's all going to that mid-season finale, that winter finale, right before they go on the break for the holidays, and then Agent Carter comes back. So we're not going to get S.H.I.E.L.D. for probably about 3 months, 2.5 to 3 months, because of Agent Carter and stuff. So whatever it's going to be a big cliffhanger, and we're just going to be dangling out there like, I can't believe they did this.
Yeah,
I really don't like that long of a mid-season break, but I suppose it makes it easier for them to have towards the end of the season tie in with whichever is their first movie of the year.
I'll say it probably helps for a couple of things. First of all, it probably helps from the aspects of the writer's room, where they actually get some time off to regroup, recalibrate, and actually come back with better stories for the second half of the season. And I know that's probably underway right now. Like, it doesn't happen after the holidays. But on the other thing that it helps is that you don't have those 2 or 3 week breaks of rehashing episodes. It's all new episodes. All of Agent Carter is new. Bang, bang, bang for the 2 months or 2.5 months or however long it's on this time. And because I don't know how many weeks they're going to take off, and then bang until May. don't forget, they are leading up to Civil War. S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to be a big part of Captain America Civil War in May. It has to be because of everything going on with the humans and stuff like that, the registration. So it's going to be fun when we get to that. And you give up seeing the episodes for a couple of months while Agent Carter is on. And that's what makes the Marvel universe so great over the DC universe. I know they have Legends of Tomorrow coming on in their mid-season breaks this year, but they're not leading up to Batman versus Superman, two completely different universes, you know?
Yeah.
And actually three, because Supergirl's not involved in it at all.
Until they play on the multiverse stuff they've been doing in Flash, at least.
I know. So good. So good. I haven't seen this week's Flash yet, and I will watch Arrow after
Okay. I'd better drop off now then.
It's okay. Well, thank you very much, Adam. We really appreciate all you do for Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. and for the Guinea
Yes,
Network.
thank you.
And I am so glad that you got your crate in the mail. Was it today or yesterday?
Yesterday. Oh, and let me just say, I don't know what they're going to do for Flash's mid-season finale after this episode.
Okay. Can't wait to see it.
That sounds
And I will have to reorganize that shelf a bit, but the Funkos did fit in there.
Why don't you send a Facebook picture to our Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. site? I'd love to
once I reorganize them, I will. Because now I would have a full row of Marvel people.
That's right. Well, I'm glad you won it then, and look forward to seeing the picture.
All right.
So, Adam, if people are looking for you, where can they find you, sir?
Twitter at @Starsaber_222.
Okay. And if they want to hear you, where can they hear you?
Well, every week on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Longbox Edition.
There you go. We're excited to have you on board. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. If anybody else wants to come on board, talk a little bit about Marvel Comics, want to talk about the S.H.I.E.L.D., want to talk about the MCU, that's what Lauren and I are here for. And if not, I'm going to go edit Longbox Edition. All right. Last call. Thank you very much for joining us this week. We really appreciate that. Lauren, you have anything?
Night, y'all. See y'all
Good
next
night.
week.
We'll definitely see you next week. Bye.